Hey, what's good, barbecue family? It's your boy Joe Mill here, back with Killer Miller Q, and today we're gonna be doing our first cook on the old Ninja Woodfire. I'm stepping it up. We're gonna try a tri-tip on that thing for the first go round. Let's get right to it. Okay, first thing in the morning, and I am in the grocery store looking for something to play with. We got to figure out exactly how that Ninja works, and I need to see something quick and easy that I can get together that might work. Here goes something that I think I did before. You don't see these often though, these beef country style ribs. Kind of cool. Individual meat prices will beat you up. But you know, I had an idea. One thing I like here is they got untrimmed tri-tip for $4.48. That's a steal. And then they got trimmed tri-tip for $4.98. That ain't bad either. And they be having some huge ones. These is they untrimmed right here. Sometimes just because I never have to usually trim a tri-tip that I normally get from like Costco or something, it's fun to mess around with them. Hold on, let me check this other section. Let's see, ground chuck, sausages. Here we go. There's these tri-tips again, and way more options. So you got your trimmed versions looking more like that, or your untrimmed looking more like that. I could do either, but at 50 cents, that ain't that big of a difference. But some of these is pretty clean, and I see some cheap options. I mean, $15 for that for 3 pounds of tri-tip. I can't beat that at all. Or I can give me a little 12-pound or $12 daddy, something like that. And what we want to do is find one with some good striation in there. Who is the one? It could be you. There's a little bit of marbling all throughout at 15 bucks. This isn't that bad for $12, to be honest with you. I'm thinking, ooh, I do like this one at 15 too. Let's compare these two $15 ones, and I'm thinking one of them should be the go-to. You or you? What am I looking for? Striations, my brother. Striations. I want to see a little bit more of that fat in throughout that meat, because that's gonna come through and flavor it. I'm thinking this one right here, man. It just seems like it's a good overall mixture of fat throughout at 1504. This 1509 do not look bad, but I think this is my one. Got it back to the crib. You know what's up. $15 for a 3-pound tri-tip. We are eating good today, peoples. We're gonna find out what this old Ninja Woodfire can do. I'm gonna start this easy. I got a foolproof method that's gonna work. We're gonna give it a light bit of salt brine. So I got me some kosher salt right here. I'm gonna get this out, get a little bit of salt on here, throw it on the rack. It's going in the fridge. All right, nothing too crazy. I didn't put a ton of salt on there because I got a couple other rubs that's gonna be going on top, but just a nice light coat, front and back. Didn't take nothing off of there. This one was the trim one. There is a decent little bit of fat on the back, but I'm gonna leave that. It'll help me out a little bit, give me some extra flavor. I'm gonna go sit this in the fridge just like you see it, on the rack, wide open. I'm gonna let that soak in there a little bit. Before we actually get the grill prepped and everything, we'll go ahead and get those other layers of flavor on there. Now here's a peek of this thing coming out of the refrigerator. I probably gave it about 4 hours in there, just long enough where you can see that that salt has all penetrated into that meat a little bit. It's starting to get a little bit more of that red color. Obviously, definitely overnight really let that salt penetrate well, but I like to give it a nice good head start before I come over the top with some of this right here. We're rolling with some of this Kinder's Prime Steak with the garlic, black garlic and truffle. This one right here is a pretty solid seasoning. It's got, excuse me, it's got a little bit of salt in this one as well, but it's really not a very salty rub. So that's kind of why I like to still give it a little bit of heat, but that's also why I didn't go too heavy on the salt. And then we're gonna finish it off with a little bit of black pepper. That way we get us a nice crust on there, and we should have us a good steak. So first things first, let's get it right over the top with some of this Kinder's. Right, application 1 is complete. I got that prime steak on there. Normally I would have started this already on the other side, but I wanted you to see the pretty side, so I flipped it back over for you. But when I start seasoning, I'm about to season the back side first, which is my fattier side. That way, when I do flip over, I'm gonna be right on the side I want to work with to cook on. So let's get some black pepper all over this thing. Easy money. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss this into the old microwave. Let's let it hang out. I'll probably give it about 15 minutes or something like that to kind of let this marry up a little bit, come on up to room temperature a little bit, doing some things outside, so that's cool. I know it takes about 7 minutes, if you've seen our unboxing video the other day, for this to get about to where I want it. My plan for cooking this steak is we're gonna pretty much go ahead and reverse sear it. I feel like that's one of the best things I could do to kind of check this ninja out. I want to see how high I can get, want to see if I can get a good sear on it, and I want to see if we're going to get some smoke on this meat, if it'll taste like my offset, if it'll taste like if I was out there on my pellet grill. So that's the objective. So I'm going to probably put this thing on at about 225-ish, and we'll kind of let it come on up to temp, maybe at about 115, 120, something like that. I'll get it off of there, let it chill out, kick that thing up to high gear, sear it off, and then you know what we're going to do after that. Almost game time, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna start with getting a little bit of pellets in here. I got this thing cleaned out from the other day when I did the unboxing. We're gonna be using these robust blends, which is they don't actually tell me exactly what pellets it is that's in here, but this again is that Bear Mountain barbecue pellets that's basically going in there. And then just got the man, I'm getting a reflection of the sun. Got that small little container. You only want to fill it to this much. And the other day I got a couple hours of smoke out of here, so I'm gonna fill that up. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing turned on and ready to get going. We got our pellet situation taken care of. I'm just gonna throw this over here on smoker. It's at 225. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that 2-hour time limit in there, even though I know I should get nowhere close, but we'll be monitoring it along the way. So we'll just go ahead and hit start. And just like that, she's on. Only been a few minutes, still not up to temp. I just came out here because smoke dog, baby. And as you can see, we smoking right along. This thing has been up to temp for a second. I was eating in the inside, full disclosure. So you can see I've got 5 minutes. It's already went off my 2-hour timer. Not too worried about that. I'm gonna open this baby up. We got that tri-tip out the microwave. We're gonna get that on there, fat side down. I figure that little bit of fat will kind of get beat up by the heating element that's good and at the bottom, the big one that's at the bottom, as well as being directly on that grate, and then we'll go from there. But I feel like it's only fair if I bring you in for the moment of truth. You know, we already wiped down. Let's see. Let's let it chill out. We are about 30 minutes in. I want to take a peek. Smells great out here. Definitely see it's drying up a little bit, as it should. I'm gonna take a quick temperature reading. Hit it about dead center. Ooh, that's about perfect. So about 30 minutes at that 225. It looks like I'm sitting at around 115. I'm gonna take it off of here and we'll kick this thing up. So I made an executive decision, left it on there just to go a little bit longer. I wanted to get a little bit more smoke, see if I can get to that 45-minute mark. This is 46 minutes. I just temped this baby. I'm sitting at about 129. Let's get it off. I want to jump in here real quick and let you know, thanks for following along on today's cook. If you're new to the channel, go to the bottom right corner, make sure you subscribe, check out any other videos you've missed, and if you haven't done it yet, find me on Facebook, IG, and TikTok. Now that I'm back inside, the only thing that I'm going to do while this hangs out in the microwave is I'm going to hit this with a little bit of my olive oil spray. Just a tad. You don't want to necessarily spray the actual unit, but it is okay to have marinated meats or whatever that's got oil on them, so that way it won't be so dry. And we're going to go back out there and kick the temp up. Just like that. It's amazing what a little bit of sheen can do. Let you hang out. And I tell you what, this thing definitely smells smoky. The one thing I do want to do is I'm going to take a quick second and just kind of wipe this down. Nothing but some water on my rag, and definitely this is all going to come off real easy. And there we go. So I'll go ahead and close this back down. We're going to slide this thing over the grill, and then we're going to pump it up high and see what we can do. See how long it takes us to get up to the high setting. Okay, that didn't take too long. This thing just beeped at me, and now it says add food. Still got some smoke coming out the back, so that's a good thing. Still got a little bit in here. Let's go grab that tri-tip. Tell you what, This thing looks pretty good already, but we're gonna go ahead and get us a sear. The other side looks a little bit more, it's got the grill lines and everything, so it's even more pretty. I'm gonna go face down, and we'll treat it like a normal hot surface, and maybe I'll check on it in about 1 minute, 30 seconds to 1 minute, and then we'll get it on the other side. Definitely a hot surface we're looking at here. Nice and juicy over here with this tri-tip at the moment. Let's go. 1 minute. I can quickly notice one thing I like is that it's all giving me that countdown on how long it's been on this high setting once I put my meat on, automatically once I closed it. So I got an idea that I'm already over that 1 minute spot. I'm gonna take a peek at it. Oh yeah, we can hear it. Ooh, that was hot. You can see we got some grill action going on there from that high setting. That was 1 minute, maybe a little bit longer, 1 minute, 10 seconds. I'm gonna let the bottom side go, which as you saw was a little bit more lighter, maybe a little bit longer. We'll check this one out in about 1.5 minutes. Okay. You can hear it sizzling. Let's get this up off of here. Let me get a final temperature and we'll let it rest. All right, I know the sunlight is doing no justice, but man, this is beautiful right here. It's got a nice looking char on here. You can see where that black pepper got everything going, but so far it's looking and smelling great. My finishing temp is about where I like it to be, which is usually right around that 150-ish mark. So I'll let this sit and it's carrying over. Let alone I also know that I'll be slicing up the majority of this to be reheated, so this is about perfect. This is off. I mean, cleanup is minimal. It'll be another quick wipe down with nothing but some water. Check out that drip pan on the back to see how much fat, but pretty much not too much fat probably came off of here, but super easy. Definitely the non-stick surface, as you can see, this is easy wipes off. The non-stick surface is doing a great job so far. Okay, so this had enough time to rest. Man, the liquid that was in here is pretty much doubled. I mean, I almost meant to make an au jus for that, but that's okay. We will save that, and that will make it back to the meat, make it over the sides and a little bit of my rice, so that's gonna be actually great. Let's get this thing over here on the cutting board. Now we got this thing posted up top. We can get a better look at it. You can kind of see my opposite side where this was the fattier side. All that fat has rendered very nicely. And this is a good looking tri-tip. I mean, it was a good one in the package, but at the end of the day, this looks very juicy. As you saw, all that juice that I was already coming out of it before we even cut into it. I've given it at least a good 15 or so minutes to rest, and we're gonna get into it. For those that don't know, you know, your tri-tip, you got variations of where your strike can be coming from. A lot of times it'll go straight in one area, and you can see the pull here. It actually looks like for the majority of my striations, they're kind of coming this way. So I could probably get away with just turning this thing this way and cutting all the way up and probably being okay. I do want to check out this cross section, so we're gonna cut this thing right about here with my Kyoku knife. Pardon my shake. That's about perfect for where I want it. I know some people like it a little bit more under. At the end of the day, this is more closer to a medium wellish, to a medium. But for me, that's exactly where I would love to see those cuts be. And like I said too, keeping in mind knowing that I'm gonna be reheating this, still nice and juicy. It'll still come up to about where I want it to be. I'm liking it. But with that said, we need some slices though. Let me see how this thing is working. So I'm just gonna come right off of this big lump. I'll fan it out so I can get me a nice little chunk there at the end. This is super juicy. You know, anytime you can get it juicy like that at the end pieces, you know your middle is gonna be beautiful. And I don't even know if I'm gonna cut all of this up right now, but we're gonna take this one right here, literally dripping right off the bone. Let's check this out. Good looking wall to wall bit of char. Nice and beefy. Need a little bit of finishing salt, but wow. Let me finish this up. That is the finished product, ladies and gentlemen, right there. what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take not even all that liquid you saw earlier on that cutting board, or I mean on the plate. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this that came after it had rested and had some time to chill out that was on that cutting board, and we just gonna baste it a little bit. We done already tasted it a little bit, but for our own viewing pleasure, man, let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment. There is a ton of smoke flavor in this thing, so especially for these smaller cuts of meat, you don't got to worry about that wood fire being able to give you enough of that. That's for sure. It's got me a good looking color. We don't have an actual temperature. Next time I'll pull out my gun and see how hot that thing gets when I go on bake and just go high, but I was able to give me a good little bit of a color on this roast. I'm not too mad at that at all. Flavor wise, I think we did a good job on what we got, but for quality control, you know we got to taste a little bit more. Man, I'm coming in here playing around doing this thumbnail, man. I had to come in here and get this little booty. I don't know about y'all, but I think that came out pretty damn good. I cannot be mad at my baby. You can see I got my nice little cover now. At the end of the day, that steak only took, what, 45 minutes at 225? Excuse me, 45 minutes at that 225 mark. We had a 3-pound tri-tip that we was able to kind of get in there. It had a ton of smoke flavor on there, so it definitely gives me a lot of smoke. One thing I was thinking was I was surprised and impressed at how little bit of pellets that I use, how much smoke you can get from it. So when I think about like making individual steaks, maybe I'm making something for just me, or maybe you don't want to have to light up your whole grill just for a smaller cook, this is a nice little option right here that still gives you a whole lot of flavor. 45 minutes, 225. Once I went up to that grill setting, I just went with high. Didn't take too long for it to get there. But I mean, I have to imagine, like I said, next time I use my gun thermometer to be sure, but I have to imagine that had to be somewhere between 400 or 500 degrees. You was definitely able to get a little bit of sizzle, and pretty much with about a minute, I was able to get some little bit of grill line. So that's definitely pretty hot. Overall, tri-tip came out money. I like my combination that I've kind of put together. Next time, obviously, if I get it on there a little bit earlier and let that salt brine go all the way down to the, would say to the bone, but there is no bone, but all the way down to the middle. I wanted to add a little bit of salt there at the end. Maybe I can mitigate that by getting that salt brine completely all the way through, but I do like that prime steak. And at the end of the day, it came out pretty damn good. Ninja gave a good score for the first go round. I can't be mad at it at all. Cooked fast, heated up fast, small, easy cleanup, and at the end of the day, ton of smoke came out of this thing. I'm gonna have to try to put it to the test a little harder next time. Maybe I go with a bigger cut of meat. I had to grab some asparagus. Was gonna do a little bit of sides at the end of the day. You already know it goes with just the meat. Shout out to the fam out there, all my boys over there at Black Smoke Barbecue. Check out our podcast if you haven't already. And anybody I missed out there in TV land, I catch y'all soon. Peace.